Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk, a podcast where Amit and I talk about various technology related topics. Today's topic is FinTech. This is actually a topic that is very close to my heart because I am working in FinTech. Amit also had various experience in FinTech industry. Um, right now, I'm actually working for quite a known big bank as well. So, and with technology, implementing various cutting edge technologies over there. So yeah, fintech is something very exciting to both of us, and very excited to talk about it today. And I feel like we will have a lot of information that will add value to our listeners and viewers. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. What is fintech? Let's give our audience some definition. Amit, what do you say?
Rinat, thanks a lot for the introduction. And yeah, I'm quite excited about this topic. It's close to what we do every day. It's not just work, but in our personal lives, especially in the UK. UK is, I think, one of the most advanced countries when it comes to fintech. We have the most advanced types of financial instruments available to the general public, which is quite remarkable. We are actually much further ahead than even America, which is supposed to be the biggest technology hub in the world. So when we talk about fintech, it's actually financial technology. Now, of course, finance has been there for a very long time, and we have done various talks on it. We have talked about CBDC, we have talked about cryptocurrency, we have talked about blockchain, and today we wanted to cover another aspect, and they are all related to fintech. Fintech is uh, s- technologies that are enabling easy access, faster access to financial instruments by the general public. So what that means is that suppose I want to take a loan, how quickly can I get it? Suppose I want to open a bank account, how quickly can I do it? Suppose I want to get insurance, how quickly I can do that? And can I do it from my mobile phone? So if I can do all that without actually going to a place, or without actually going through an agent, without actually going through a broker, that's basically enabling a service through technology, and that's what fintech is all about.
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to say that, yeah, as you just explained, fintech is a portmanteau of finance and technology. I remember the first time when I kind of came across the word fintech, I was confused. What does that even mean? And I had to Google it. But then I found out the huge world of fintech and how technology is like ingrained or entangled with finance nowadays. And everything that finance is a large industry and with a large remit to begin with. I mean, it has been historically. And how technology has been ingrained or entangled with it is quite fascinating, really, because everything that we do, we even if we are doing something that is not directly tech, even though most of the things we do are now in mobile apps or online anyway, but even if you were to go to a bank physically and doing something, even in that scenario, in the background, a lot of technology is being utilized for all the things that you're asking them to do. So yeah, fintech is quite a large industry with so many things happening in the background that it's just amazing. And yeah, you've mentioned some of those things, like when we're doing international money transfer, as well as the regular retail banking, as well as a lot of people are now into retail stocks with the advent of trading 212 and Robinhood and likes of that. And let's not forget cryptocurrency, because that's also finance and technology at the heart of it. So all of these things do come under fintech, and yeah, it's really fascinating to think about all of that.
Yes, actually, you're right. And when we talk about technology, it's not like and financial technology. We don't mean that okay, you had a bank where you could go previously, it didn't have a website, and now it has a website. That's not fintech. Fintech is actually trying to solve those problems, because even with those online banks, or you say online banking, you still cannot do many things very easily. You'll need a lot of, there are a lot of restrictions, there are a lot of approvals. If you want to just open an online bank account itself, it takes a lot of time. So I had this experience with one of the large retail banks here in the UK. I was trying to get myself added to my wife's account as a joint account holder, and it took so much time and effort that I just like in the end I just gave up and I moved to another bank, a digital bank. And Yeah, so fintech is making life easy through technology. It's not internet banking. It makes your life easy, but imagine you take it a step further. What if you could do everything from your mobile phone? I mean, it's internet banking. You have to log in, you have to, but now you have an app and you can download it on your phone, and through that you can transfer money, you can make payments, you can do so many things. So I think that's the power. So let's start and break it down in fintech, because there are so many different areas in finance that fintech covers. So let's break down some of the things and we'll just talk about how technology is enabling it. So let's start with banking. So Rinat, you mentioned that you're working in a big retail bank in UK. So can you talk about what kind of banking um I mean, what kind of technologies is fintech enabling in banking, and how is it helping people?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, apart from my current engagement as well, I mean, I have quite a few engagement in financial services industry with technology implementation. So, yeah, including quite a few names that everyone would know, and then there are smaller financial services companies who only a handful of people would know. I've had the experience of working in all of these different types of financial services companies, and all in all, in most cases, people are trying to implement newer technology to stay not ahead of the game, but just to stay in competition, because that's how much technology is entangled with financial services companies. Because if you're not sort of exploring the newest technology right now, you're not even going to be in the competition. It's not just going to make you stay ahead of the game, but it's just going to just make you remain there. So I'm fundamentally in automation, and um, one of the things that I do for various financial services companies is implement a program of automation services in their organization. And that's some of the things that I've worked in previous retail banks and commercial banks, and some of the things that I'm doing currently as well. And what I have seen over and over again is the the kind of the need to streamline various processes. And one of the things that comes repeatedly is the need to sort of, so there is a lot of opportunity for technology implementation in financial services, because there historically there has been a lot of people who are working for various repetitive tasks in financial services. I mean, they're very good at standardizing various business processes, and what happens is once you standardize it, you can deploy a lot of resources who would do those standardized tasks. And now, with the advent of technology, you have the opportunity to automate these tasks with the right tools. And now, a lot of businesses, a lot of financial services businesses and companies are looking at or exploring how to automate these things. And all of these things that we do, with the front end being mobile apps or or desktop application, a lot of things actually goes behind. A lot of sort of technical operations goes on in the background to make those things happen. I mean, obviously, as a consumer or as a user, you're seeing a transfer happening, with a click of a button. But there's so many things that are happening with so many checks, and that's another thing about fintech as well. I mean, we have entanglement of technology with various industries. Like there is ed tech, there is food tech, there's various things that are always have a tech added to the end, and that's a new industry. One of the things that's different with fintech and the rest of the tech industries is that the regulatory and the compliance requirements, because financial services industry is very heavily regulated, which may not be the case for the other industries, or they might be regulated in different ways. But compliance and regulatory requirements is very, a fundamental requirement for all financial operations. And technology allows all the financial conduct to be audited well, and to keep track of and provide insights on everything that's happening. And it also helps prevent crime as well in by the financial services company, as well as delinquent hackers or disgruntled employees. So in many ways, technology is enabling fairer usage for the users or consumers. And going back to what I was saying about the user experience, when you're clicking a button, a lot of things is happening in the background. Some of that includes compliance. So when you're opening an account, as you mentioned, that you probably didn't have the best of experience in one bank, and then you went to an online only bank, and then you had a really good. That's because they're utilizing the technology to the fullest. There is already data available from the government about, from your driving license number. You can pull out a lot of data about yourselves to identify you, and then you can you can connect that with your date of birth or passport number, and then they can have a fully comprehensive profile about yourself from a legitimate source, which is the government itself. And businesses can have these sources by registering themselves and as a proper company, like the online banks are. And through these, with the click of a button, or in 5 minutes, they can do the KYC procedure. KYC stands
Yes.
for Know Your Customer, and that's a very, very crucial step in onboarding a new customer. And that, some of the traditional retail banks takes days, and whereas it can really be done in 5 minutes with leveraging the technology that can go behind the scenes. And that's what these online banks are doing. And I had a very similar experience when I started contracting. I needed to have a business bank account, and I went to one of the top high street banks, and I thought I'll do it that way. But then they had taken 2 weeks, and then I did not get any response after. And I felt like I was not being taken care of in a way that they could. And then I had to start my job very quickly as well. And the deadline, the start date of my contract engagement was coming up very soon. So what I did, I went online to an online bank, online only bank, and it literally took less than 10 minutes to scan my driving license and my passport, and they gave me an account with account number, and I was ready to go. And that is such a big difference. And the difference is so high that it has the potential to disrupt the market. I mean, I say
Yeah.
potential, but they are already disrupting the market, because younger people more and more are, subscribing to banks like Monzo, or business banks like Tide or Starling. These are some of the names, not that we're sponsored by them, but some of the names that we've seen, and some of them we personally used as well. And there are many benefits of these online only bank accounts.
Yeah, I think I think you mentioned these scenarios really well, because I had a similar experience with an online only bank. I mean, I have used Starling, Monzo, Revolut in the UK. I have used HSBC, Santander, Barclays, Halifax, which are the big retail banks. Starling, Monzo, Revolut, they are the digital only banks. So when we say digital only banks, it means you cannot go to a store. There is no shop. Everything has to be done through the phone or through the website. There is no customer. I mean, you cannot actually go and talk to someone physically. Everything is done online. That keeps the cost down, but that also means that they can deliver services much quicker because there is no middleman involved. There is no paperwork. As Rinat mentioned, you just scan your driving license or a passport and they immediately open. So that's eKYC, electronic KYC, rather than physical KYC where you have to sign everything, you have to fill a form, provide photocopies of everything. They will send it to their headquarters. It will get approved. They will look at your bank history. They'll look at your credit history, etc., and then decide whether they want to open open a bank account for you. So it takes a lot of time. So that's one aspect, eKYC. Rinat also mentioned about fraud. So fraud prevention is, I think, a very big thing. So if you are trying to make a lot of payments too quickly, or you try to transfer a big amount very to a new user, you will get an alert, and they will try to authenticate. They will try to ask or give you a phone call to verify whether it's a legitimate transaction. There are money laundering regulations, so they will be able to track the money that's being transferred from one account to another, and even offshore. So the companies, they have now these automation tools that can monitor. They have these AI ML models where they can monitor all the data, and if your transactions are not in line with your regular use, it pops up an alert, and they know that something is different compared to your regular usage, and they'll try to verify by either emailing you, blocking the payment, calling you. It's for your own benefit, because a lot of fraud happens with that. So so that's one way where banking is getting transformed. The other way is digital checks. So earlier we used to go to a bank to deposit a check, maybe post office. Now you can just scan the check and it gets deposited to your account by the next day. That's how quick it is. So I think banking has transformed. Plus, the other thing about online banking and now with the advent of open banking is that your data with your bank is accessible to other third parties if you allow it, if you authorize it. What that means is that suppose you transact with a big bank, say HSBC or NatWest or Barclays. These are UK specific banks. So you bank with one of these banks. Now, there is a credit score agency like ClearScore or Credit Karma, and they want to access your account so they can recommend you financial products like credit cards, loans, mortgages, insurance, etc. So they will keep a track of your insurance based on and your credit score. They can recommend you products, and for that they would need access, and you can now give them access. So they'll have access to your transactions, um, and they'll have access only for a limited period of time. Then you have to re-authenticate, but they have access. And it's not just these financial companies or credit score companies, but other banks. So you can actually look at your bank balance, say from HSBC in Santander bank application. So you don't have to go to HSBC application. Once you authorize it, you can actually view it in one application. So that's the power of open banking and mobile banking currently in the UK.
Absolutely, that's actually so amazing, and this actually brings me back to one of the things that you said in the beginning, that how UK is so much further ahead than countries like US or Canada, because um, they have some mobile apps and other financial systems called like PayPal and Venmo, and we might sometimes feel frustrated that why don't we have something like that? But the actual reason is we are so further ahead than their banking that we never even needed these financial tools that they had to implement to do their regular banking. I mean, what you do with PayPal or Venmo, send money to from one person to another, we can do that, just from directly bank to bank transfer. I mean, there are times when I sent like pennies to my friends, just make it to just have fun, but you can do that without needing a third party application. And that was already like 10-20 years ago we were doing that, and now we have even open banking is now kind of like not new news anymore, but
Yes, it's a
you know
standard
it,
now. Everyone has to
yeah.
adhere to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my Lloyd's bank account mobile app, I can see if I have account with NatWest or HSBC, I can see all of those accounts and credit cards details and transactions in one app. And obviously, the first thing that you think about, what about security? But obviously, if all of these banks have come together to provide us this technology, it made our life, consumers' life, a lot easier. And the question of security and sort of privacy is maintained, and that's how they're providing that service. So yeah, it just amazes me how further ahead the UK banking system is, and I am quite lucky to be a consumer of this system.
Indeed, indeed. And I mean, once you have access to mobile bank, and then these credit score, your own credit score through, say, Clear Score or Credit Karma, it gives you so much access and so easy access. I remember when I wanted to apply for a loan, and I wanted it like by next day, I went to Zopa. It's a peer-to-peer lending. So what that means is there are a group of people or some people who have money left in their bank accounts and they want to invest it somewhere. So they invest in a company like Zopa, and Zopa will promise them an interest on their investment, and that money that which they invest is given as loan to other people who pay interest on that loan. Now the beauty of this is that you apply online and you apply through, say, Clear Score or Credit Karma. So these are credit score agents, credit score companies where you can actually check your credit score free of cost. So you can open an online account and you can go there. You can give your details, personal details like your name, your address history, your date of birth, and your mobile number, email address, etc. And they will then pull out all the financial history that credit agencies have on you, and they can tell you if you have missed any payments or what is the address stored on your file, etc., etc. How many bank accounts you have opened, how many direct debits you have every month, etc. So once they have all this information, they can then recommend you products, and then through that I applied for a loan in Zopa. Zopa approved it, and I got the money. I mean, not next day, it was like instant. I got the money in my account, and I was able to use it instantly. And it's not just Zopa, there are other companies that can now provide you loans in your bank account, uh, like within seconds of approval. So you go online, apply for it, it gets approved, money's in your account, and you can use it.
Right, this is quite interesting. Actually, I wasn't aware, or I haven't explored peer-to-peer lending that much. But yeah, now hearing about you about this, I definitely want to find out. I mean, not that we're sponsored by Zopa either, but definitely want to check this out and other similar
There
providers
is one
like.
company called Lendable. They also provide instant loans. There is Rate Setter, and there are many other companies online. I've used some of these, so I can personally say that yes, the service is good because once you get approved based on your credit score, of course, uh,
Mhm.
they and also based on your credit score, the interest rate is dynamic, so it's not fixed. It's not like everyone will get the same interest rate. It's depending upon your payment history, your credit history, etc., that they will give an interest. If you have a lot of
Right.
outstanding loans, the interest rate will be a bit higher. If you have less outstanding debt, then your interest rate will be lower because you are low risk.
Right.
So, so these are
I mean,
very, very good ways to get
absolutely. No,
access.
I was more thinking about the investment opportunity rather than taking the loan because, yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
there is investment
that seems
opportunities.
like a really,
Yes,
yes.
yes. And there are many other companies who do that. So yeah, so that's one area where so we started with a bank, then looked at credit score, and now we went to lending. So it's like you want to take a loan, you want to take a credit card, so that's all related to that. Now, suppose you want to make a payment. So Rinat mentioned that you take the bank accounts. I have Rinat's bank account, and I can transfer him money, or he can transfer me money. But you might have heard about Paytm in India. There are many other companies, and in PayPal, you actually just need an email address. So if you send money to that email address, the money will reach you. So they will always ask what's your PayPal email, and the money will come to your account, free of cost, of course, no transaction charges. And in UK, you can now transfer money from one bank to another bank using a mobile number. So your mobile number is linked because of your mobile banking. So every bank app will have access to the mobile number. So with that mobile number, they can link your bank account, and with that bank account, they can transfer money. So you can actually transfer money through a mobile number. And it's not just that, like transfer money within the country, you can transfer money abroad as well. So there is TransferWise, and there are many other companies. Remit, I think Remit to India, Remitly. There are, I mean, I've used TransferWise, and I can vouch for its services. It's very quick, So what they do is you transfer money to their bank account and they will transfer money to our Indian bank account. How they do that, I don't care. But what I know is that the moment I make the transfer, the money is in my account within 2 to 3 minutes. It's that quick, depending upon the time of the day. So that's a game changer. I don't have to wait days or weeks to get money in my Indian bank account. It's within like minutes.
Oh, right. Okay. I wasn't aware of that actually. I mean, I was just going to mention TransferWise because I'm a very regular user of TransferWise as an immigrant person myself. And I remember back in the days when I used to have like Western Union. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure they have also implemented technology nowadays, which I haven't explored yet. But back in the days, I used to have to go with the cash to a shop or like outlet and then fill up forms and then send the money. And then the recipient on the other end had to take that password or a passcode or the scanned copy of the document and then take it there and then get the cash, which it was so difficult or inconvenient compared to what it is now. And yeah, I used TransferWise and some of the other ones you mentioned, like Remitly. It's quite popular in Canada, I think, from some of my friends. I haven't used Remitly, but TransferWise is, or I think they're now recently called Wise. And yeah, I mean, but I'm actually surprised hearing that you're saying that it only takes a few minutes because my experience still is it takes 1 or 2 days, which is still a lot quicker than it used to be before.
I think it
But
depends on the country because for India it's minutes. I mean,
right,
I transfer to India, so it could be because of the country to which you're transferring.
it
So
could be,
it could be
yes.
that because there are other regulatory requirements before you can actually make the
Hmm.
transfer. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's another way where fintech is transforming international cross-border payments, especially for immigrants
Absolutely.
like us, when we have to send money to the family and we have to support our family, etc. I think it's very important to be able to send money quickly to them without incurring a very high interest rate, high transaction fee. So, Wise. So it used to be called TransferWise. It has now become Wise. Thank you for pointing that out, Renat. So what they do is for every transaction they charge you money, but it's very small amounts. Say suppose you're sending 200, 300 pounds, or say 3,000 pounds, they'll charge maybe 1 or 2 pounds, or maybe 5 pounds, depending upon it.
Okay, it all sounds a lot better for India than for Bangladesh, actually. I do get
Okay.
charged more than the numbers you're saying, but still, it's much better than what I used to get in
Exactly.
Western Union.
Yeah, I think
And
it's more to do with the country and the regulation and the banking ties that they have.
but in all of these situations, the overall experience for me is improved so much because, yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, it's cheaper overall, as well as so convenient that sometimes I don't even have to get out of bed. I can just use two apps, my mobile banking app and the Wise app, and then the money is already in its way. And they're going to get it in the recipient's going to get it in their bank account, so they don't have to go somewhere to get the cash
Yes.
either. It's just
Yes.
going to just get deposited in their bank account, so it's ready for them to use however they like, which is completely like a day and night difference. And these are some of the ways technology is kind of turning the financial world upside down.
Yes, indeed. And so once you have these cross-border payments, so you can now move money from one account to another account, from one currency to another currency. Now, bear in mind when we do a cross-border payment, there is a conversion as well. So if I transfer from UK to India, there is a conversion from pounds to rupees, Indian rupees, and they have a transaction fee, and it is all calculated instantly or on the day or on the minute what the current exchange rate is. They calculate the commission, they calculate the fees, they calculate the conversion rate, they show you everything, and you make the transfer and the money is in your account within a couple of minutes. So it is actually quite transformative, and I think it's all to do with the user experience, the convenience of doing a financial transaction with such ease, because it gives you very less headache. You don't have to worry about it. You can do things last minute. So it takes that burden of planning things ahead, going somewhere, doing something, maybe withdrawing money from your bank account. That also has a challenge because you can only withdraw certain amount of cash per day. So though there are all these challenges as well. And now from payments, if we go a bit further, you have insurance. We talked about loans, but then we have insurance as well. So insurance is also one of the financial instruments through which I mean you cover yourself in case of any eventuality. It could be a home loan, sorry, home insurance. It could be your business insurance. It could be life insurance. It could be car insurance. It could be travel insurance. Now, all these things are now very standardized, especially I think in Europe. I'm not sure about other markets. I live in Europe, so I know about the market here. They're very standardized. You can buy insurance online within few minutes. Of course, for health, say life insurance, health insurance, you have to fill a bit more details because they'll ask you about your health history, your travel history, etc., before they can assess the risk and provide you a quote of the insurance. But for say car, for travel, for many other things, business insurance, home insurance, it's very quick. So you have these comparison websites where you can just go buy insurance and you don't have to go through an agent. Earlier, you had to go through an agent. An agent would come and recommend you a product and they will say, okay, this is your lifestyle, so this is how much cover you need. Now you can just select everything online and you'll get a list. And based on your risk or your appetite or your say your credit history, you will get products. And now you can mix and match. You can add something, you can remove something, you can have an add-on, etc. So it just makes life easy. And there are all these websites where you can just go compare and buy insurance.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are so many like sub-sectors in financial services. We looked at foreign transactions, there insurance, and there's retail banking, and then there's commercial banking. So many, and all of these sub-industries, if you want to call it sub-industry, they are industries on
Yeah,
its own.
yeah,
But all of them have implemented technology, and they had to because it can have it does provide so much benefit, and and it didn't happen overnight though. It happened, it was a slower transition in the beginning, but more and more, um, you know, the industry leaders or the management or whomever was in charge of decision, they saw the benefit that technology brings into these each of these business processes. And yeah, just not just using a computer for emails at work, but there are so many things where technology can be ingrained within the process, and the process can be improved, so consumers are ultimately benefited with time save and convenience.
yeah.
There's, and obviously, so far we've been talking about our traditional money and how that, but then we must not forget cryptocurrency and the new money that's coming in. That's also finance because it's
And
money.
CBDC. And
And yes,
CBDC.
CBDC. And I've recently heard this news that when we were talking about, we had a talk for our audience who didn't catch that quite a few episodes before earlier. We had a talk about CBDC and we explored what it is and what it can do and the potential for it. Recently, I saw a news about CBDC where some of the uh, NATO countries, not necessarily NATO countries, but some of the Western countries with quite strong financial standings, like UK, Germany, etc., they are considering sort of starting up
Yes, yeah.
a
It's
CBDC.
it's
And
not just UK, Germany. There is India. India in their financial budget, they have recently told that they want to look at CBDC. They have legalized cryptocurrency purchases. Of course,
Mhm,
there will be taxes, but they have legalized that. In UK, you can buy cryptocurrency and you still have to pay some tax when you try to sell those after you gain
absolutely.
some profit. But I think it's all legal. Um, of course, with any investment, there is a financial risk. So we will not advise you to buy or invest in a certain cryptocurrency. Please look at your risk appetite and invest accordingly. And we are not recommending any cryptocurrency over any other. So do your research and then invest. Uh,
Absolutely. And also, just to add a little bit of another footnote as well, it's not legal in every country. So please do
yes, yes.
only do things if it is legal in your jurisdiction. So,
Yeah, I think
but yeah.
so I think cryptocurrency is there. Cryptocurrency has its own, I think, market. A lot of people who don't have access to a bank account. So normally in the UK, you can open a bank account if you have a driving license or a passport or some kind of a legal document. But in many countries, you don't even have those legal documents. So banks don't want to take that risk. So a lot of people in poor countries or developing nations, they don't have bank accounts. So these are the unbanked people, and most of these unbanked people now, if they want to transact, they are now looking at cryptocurrencies, because in you can buy a cryptocurrency just opening an account in one of the exchanges, and you can easily I mean, you can ask someone maybe, or you can use some cash, I don't know, but you can still buy cryptocurrencies. Once you buy that, you can then transfer those cryptocurrencies, you can trade that, you can invest it somewhere, or you can just do cross-border payments. So you send Bitcoin from say UK to say Bangladesh, and in Bangladesh someone will receive the cryptocurrency and they'll encash it and they get the money based on the current traded value of Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or whatever.
Yes, and
So
in future they don't even have to convert to money if cryptocurrency is fully implemented in the market.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
And banks and governments saw this as a risk, and that's why they looked at how they can tackle it and regulate it. Of course, it's for the benefit, because bear in mind, cryptocurrencies is still a very highly unregulated market, so there is no protection. So in case something happens with your money, it's gone. You lose it forever. If you forget the ID of your wallet, you lose it forever. There is no recorded history. It's just gone. So you have to be very careful
yeah,
when it comes to investing in cryptocurrencies. But of course, it is there and you can use it. So banks saw this as an opportunity, and especially the governments, they saw this as an opportunity to come up with something of their own, which they can control, regulate, and ensure that it's used for normal purposes and not for anything else, not for any illegal activities, money laundering,
yes.
terrorist activities, etc.
Absolutely, and I think common man, does need some protection, and if it is coming from the government, then that's very good. I mean, who else should you expect to protect you?
Yes, yes,
As but one of the things that I think one of the main difference with CBDC, or CBDC stands for central bank digital currency, that many governments are looking at or exploring, and the regular cryptocurrency that we know of like Bitcoin and Ethereum, is that these Bitcoin and Ethereum, these are one of the main selling point that they have is that it's decentralized, but
yes,
CBDC is going to be centralized. It's in the name, central bank digital currency. The main difference is going to be it's going to be centralized, so government would have some sort of control, and that way they can also provide the protection, as well as they can also implement a few things that people might not like better tax transparency, because they will be able to know who paid tax and who didn't very
yes.
easily on which transaction. So yeah, there is going to be less of a gray area where regular consumer or citizen can sort of uh, avoid or tax in their discretion. There's going to be and also, but there will be protections like you mentioned, like there would be less of transactions with which includes terrorist activities or drug use and that kind of stuff. So society would be more protected in these ways. So there are benefits and disadvantages on both,
I
but
think, Rinat, you mentioned about tax avoidance, but even with cryptocurrency, because you cannot buy many things with cryptocurrency today, what will happen is you will have to convert it to a local currency, say dollars, pounds, euros. And once you convert that, it gets added to your income, so you then have to declare it and then you have to pay tax on it.
Yes, no, no, absolutely. That's of course there. But what I'm talking about is, say, for example, you have a company business card, and you go to a business trip, and your company has said that you can spend money on meals and stuff like that, which is then going to be added. The companies then use that as a tax write-off because those were expenses, the company expenses. Even if you do go over your budget a little bit, it would still be, you know, kind of like counted as spending company expenses. But that is a gray area. If you had specified your, an employee's limit on a daily, spending limit, and then they go over it, that's, if it's CBDC, government's going to know about each and every spending, including which one was
Yeah. No, but
VAT.
no, no, no. I think that's where you're mistaken. I mean, they will have, you will have a wallet and they will have CBDC, but CBDC will give you the same level of anonymity that a cash does.
Are
That's
you
what
sure
CBDC
about
is.
that?
Yes,
Because
yes,
I
yes.
seriously doubt that, because all of your transaction is digitally
But
recorded.
that's why you have that's why there is a difference between, say, a normal transaction and CBDC. So like you make a credit card payment, you can track all those things. But
But
CBDC
then,
gives you that anonymity.
if then you can question that if you get that anonymity, then what's stopping the delinquent transactions like drug use or terrorist activities? How are they going to track that if
So,
anyone has
even
that?
so with CBDC, you will need a wallet or you'll need a bank account, and those bank accounts will be managed mostly by the central banks, or it would be managed. I mean, there will be some agency to manage that, and those transactions, yes, but the digital currency itself, the whole point of having a digital cash is to replicate what's there in the physical world, to give you
I
some bit of
seriously doubt that it would give you the same anonymity as cash. But you do have some anonymity. Well, if you even if you're doing digital transaction in your bank, you don't have any
there is no
anonymity.
anonymity. The government
I really
agencies.
don't think that you'll get the same level of anonymity as using cash. But however it is, it's still newer technology being implemented, and I'm sure the delinquents will find newer ways to
Of
do
course,
their
of course.
business.
Wherever
But
there is a
it's
problem,
just
there will be a new way, and that's how innovation comes. So people
yeah.
people strive to look at how to bypass an existing problem, and they figure out a new way, and then governments track that and they form a new regulation. And that's
Absolutely. I think the goal is to make the severe crimes so difficult. I mean, there's always going to be petty crimes, and a lot of the time civilians end up doing petty crimes. It's just the objective is to make like severe crimes like murder or terrorist activity so difficult that gets significantly
yes,
reduced, hopefully to zero. But the rest of it will probably be a part of our society, whether we like it or not. But people could have other controversial views. Happy to debate if anyone wants to. But yeah, it will be a fun debate. I don't have any strong views on opinion on any of these, but yeah, happy to be enlightened. But yeah, going back to our topic, cryptocurrency and digital currency, all in all, is also a major part of fintech. And some of the things that are also happening is looking at all the transactions in a blockchain, in any of the cryptocurrency or CBDC, you could find patterns, and you could implement machine learning algorithms to find patterns and find behaviors, consumer behavior on a macro level as well as on a micro level, because we don't really necessarily lack computing power. We just lacked quality data. And now with real life transaction in a whole country being added, or in case of Bitcoin and Ethereum worldwide being added, you can identify various patterns and make larger economic decisions that impacts everyone,
yes,
and do policy regulations that are going to be beneficial to the biggest number of consumers this way, which obviously these are all powerful tools, and we hope that people who are in charge will use it efficiently and for the right reasons. And if it is used in the right reasons, it could be so much powerful and beneficial to us common people.
yeah, absolutely. I think That's another. I mean, if you just Google fintech, cryptocurrency, blockchain, they are always at the top because that's the way to go forward. How do you go to a decentralized structure? And if you have a CBDC, how do you manage it? What kind of ledger it would look like, etc. So I think these technologies are very crucial, even though it is still a very gray area. It's still run on speculation. If you look at the prices of Bitcoin or Ethereum, they fluctuate quite a lot. So it's still driven by a lot of speculation. So it's not. That's why it's very difficult to invest in these currencies right now because they are not very stable. If you go with a traditional currency like dollar and pound, they're very stable. So it's the value of that currency will not go up or down drastically. So like
Yeah, I think one of the funny thing a few years ago, I think Uber was looking at accepting Bitcoin, and then the reason they couldn't is because at the start of the journey, you might have a price of a Bitcoin, which could significantly change by the time you end your journey. So yeah, but
yeah,
we are slowly moving towards
some kind of
a
digital
world
currency. Yeah, it could be
where it would
cryptocurrency, it could be
correct itself. Yeah.
CBDC, but yeah, we are moving towards that direction
Mhm.
because I think digital is the future. Most of the transactions are now happening. I mean, when we talk about transactions, everyone has already started using Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay. So you have
Mhm.
a wallet on your phone. You don't have to carry a physical wallet, and with that wallet, you have a lot of credit cards, debit cards, you have loyalty cards. So suppose I go to Tesco or Sainsbury, which are grocery stores here in the UK, we can just use those cards, get points on it, and we can also redeem them in the future. So it's so convenient that you don't have to carry a wallet anymore. You just need your mobile phone. And actually, not mobile phone, you can also use a smartwatch, and you can do all the transactions from your smartwatch using NFC technology. So I think
Mm.
making your life easy is the goal of fintech, and getting more people connected, getting more people involved, getting more people banked is also the aim. Getting
Mhm.
rid of the red tape, the bureaucracy, the slow processing times. I think
While
that
remaining compliant to the
exactly.
regulations.
So
Yeah.
use technology to your benefit and ensure that a wide range of financial services are available to the public. I mean, we just talked about a few. There are financial literacy websites where you can actually get literate about how to do how to invest money, how to save money. In the online banking world, you have now spending categories. So you can actually, through your bank statements, you can see which areas are you spending more. Are you spending more on food, travel, commute, or leisure, entertainment, etc. So there are categories. So you can look at a monthly trend of where you're spending more money. That helps you to make better financial decisions. You have digital tax returns now, so you don't have to file a paper tax returns anymore. You can file your tax returns digitally. You get refund digitally. It's no longer a check, it just comes to your bank account. You have robo financial advisors. So earlier you used to go to a financial advisor now, but most of the advice that they would give is based on certain inputs and the standard products available. So there are robo financial advisors, then there are instant loans we talked about, and there are many other things in the financial industry that has been actually transformed. The major thing that has recently that has come up is buy now pay later.
Mhm.
So you make a payment, you buy something, say an Apple Watch or say a Samsung phone, and you buy that, say £800, and you pay it later over a period of 3 months or 4 months or 12 months. So that's basically interest-free credit to you at the tip of your fingertip, and you don't have to worry about paying now. Of course, it puts a lot of people in debt, but that payment option is now available. So that is also transforming the industry. And there are many other things that's happening. Mortgages. So mortgage is just a home loan. So if you want to apply for a home loan or change your existing home loan to a new provider, there are a series of steps, and most of the things can be done online. So you don't even have to go to a bank, send them paperwork. Everything is done online. So it just makes your life so convenient. So now, where you could do maybe one or two things in a week, you're able to do 10, 20 things in a day. It's
Absolutely,
incredible.
and that just changes the whole lifestyle. Before, part of our monthly or weekly chores were a big chunk of doing just this, and now we just do it, while leisurely lying in bed from our phone, and we have freer time to innovate or to think about or consume or learn. And these are the things that are also help will also help us progress in our life, lead a more content life. Obviously, by the way you choose how you would spend all of this free time, you
Yes,
could also
like making a
mindlessly.
podcast.
Yes, yeah, you could also mindlessly keep scrolling, which I am also guilty of. But yeah, I mean, it's all about control. But yeah, you have all of these free times thanks to technology and the connection of technology between interdisciplinary collections like finance and other industries with tech. So yeah, we've talked about many aspects of financial finance and tech. We've talked about retail banking and how the business process goes on that are in the background and how they're being um, efficient, more efficient with tech. And then we talked about foreign exchange. We talked about cryptocurrency. We talked about quite a few things, but
Insurance. Yeah,
and we've only touched on the
high
tip of the
level.
iceberg.
I think
Uh,
one thing we missed is investment. So
mhm.
we mentioned trading 212 and we mentioned Robinhood, but these are so convenient apps that you can buy stocks from any country, literally US, UK, Asia, and you can invest money. You can invest money in cryptocurrencies, you can invest money in bonds, you can invest money in stocks, many different products, ETFs, index funds, etc.
Mhm.
And it makes your life easy. Just with the click of a button, you transfer some money and you buy some financial products. You don't have to go through a traditional bank, open a demat account, etc. It's all in one app.
Absolutely, and even before the advent of companies like Trading 212 or Robinhood, even retail banking was an exclusive club that not everyone was able to afford,
Yes,
or not even just to experiment or test. Now, you can, they can also provide commission-free trading. Of course, they are making money in different ways that we probably touched upon in our other episodes. But the point is that it became so much more reachable to normal us regular people that it is turning the investment world upside down as well, because what happened with GameStop shares, and a lot of
yeah,
people know, and that wouldn't have happened if all of these things were, and a lot of those transactions happened in Robinhood because us, just regular people had access to be able to buy and change the outcome of, all of these Wall Street analysts.
analyst predictions, yes.
Yes, so that was quite interesting times, and hopefully there will be more and more power to regular people eventually, and as everything becomes decentralized, um, and
I mean,
yeah,
it's a
technology.
debate. I mean, we say that it everything will become decentralized, but someone still has to maintain the infrastructure, and that will still be
It's true.
centralized.
But the thing is, rather than having one central body, if there are 10 smaller central bodies, that's still a little bit more power to the masses than the other. And then obviously in capitalist market there will be competitions, and there out of those 10 probably one would be a little bit bigger and one would go out of the market. But overall, anyone who studied economics, or there is concept of monopoly and various other types of markets, and oligopoly is the best one for consumers because there are few big players. There's no one has monopoly, but big players makes it easier for consumers. Like what we oligopoly is an example of oligopoly is UK grocery shopping. We have quite a few, five, six, Sainsbury's, Asda, not Walmart, but Morrison's and
Tesco,
things like
Aldi,
Tesco.
yeah.
But they're big enough so they have the logistics power to bring items for quite cheap to the consumers, but they're also in competition with each other. So they are also having to keep the price down low. So it's all the way win-win for the consumers. And that's probably where we want to get to with all kinds of these kind of tech products and fintech
Yeah, I
tools
mean
in
it's
the
not
market.
just groceries. I mean, even if you look at today's tech industry, I mean most of the technologies either with Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, Samsung, most of the technology is within these companies. So most of the online applications that we use or mobile phones or even devices, they are or say email accounts are actually from these companies. So they are kind of a big thing and they dictate
Mhm.
where the market goes. So it is good for the people, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's see what happens, and things will keep changing. Things will keep changing, and uh, the digital world is a necessary thing. It's a necessary evolution. FinTech is, I mean, Rinat already mentioned, FinTech is just one thing. There is food tech, biotech, there is edutech. There are so many industries that are getting transformed by technology. And one of the reasons we started this podcast is because technology is so exciting. It's changing every day. It's changing very rapidly, and eh, that's our passion as well. So we keep reading about technology, we keep understanding its implications, we keep hearing other eminent speakers in the industry. We read blogs, we read news. So we are very passionate about technology, and that's what we are trying to do with this podcast is to bring awareness about these different things, different industries, and see how technology is transforming and how technology is making our life easy. I mean, technology can be used for many evil purposes, but in the end, its main goal is to make money for the businesses, of course, but also to make life easy for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. What benefit it does for the consumer is the ultimate target USP, of course. So yeah, this was actually quite a good talk. Hopefully the audience, you guys have enjoyed and got some new information in different areas of fintech. Even if you knew some of it, I hope we were also able to bring you some new information in from a different perspective. And yeah, as Amit, you said that it's ever changing and new technologies are coming up, and so yes, do subscribe to our channel to keep in tune with all the things that are happening and will be happening in future. Um, Hopefully, you guys will also reach out to us the way you usually do with newer topics that you would like us to talk about. And it was fun talking today, and hopefully we'll see you guys again in our
Thanks,
later
thanks,
episode.
Renat. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.